If you've ever built automations in Salesforce, you know how messy it can get and fast. So today, we're going to lay out a really clean, super scalable blueprint using Agentforce's core building blocks. By the end of this, I promise you'll have a whole new way of thinking about how your automation should be structured. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with a question that literally everyone who's ever touched Salesforce has asked themselves. You're building an automation, you've got a business requirement, but where does the logic actually belong? Do you try to cram everything into one giant, complex flow? Do you jump straight to writing Apex? It's a huge challenge, and you know what? Getting it wrong really matters. And yeah, getting that decision wrong has some serious consequences. When all your logic gets tangled up and disorganized, your automations become brittle. They break easily, they're an absolute nightmare to debug, and that leads to super frustrating projects and this constant struggle just to maintain the thing you already built. But here's the good news. There is a much, much better way. And the solution is to start thinking of your automation components not as code, but as a high-performing team. We're about to meet the three key players on this team. And once you really get their distinct roles, designing clean, scalable solutions is going to feel so much more intuitive. First up, let's meet the agent. The agent is basically the manager of this whole operation. It's the brains. It gets a request, it figures out what's really being asked, and then it decides what needs to be done. Now, the key thing to remember here is that the manager doesn't actually do the work itself. It delegates. And that brings us to the action. The action is your specialist, your doer. So after the manager, the agent, decides what needs to happen, it hands the task off to the action. This is the component that's actually executing the work. Creating a record, firing off an email, or calling out to some external system. And this, right here, this is the core idea that makes everything simpler. The agent is the strategist. It decides what to do. The action is the tactician. It handles how to get it done. This crystal clear separation of concerns is the real secret to building clean, maintainable architecture. It's that simple. But even a specialist needs an assistant sometimes, and that's where our third team member comes in, the tool. The tool's job is just to support the action. It's not a decision maker at all, it's a helper. It goes and fetches data, performs a quick check, or provides some other little utility to help our doer get its job done right. All right, so we've met the team. We have the manager, the specialist, and the assistant. Now, let's see how they all work together in this beautiful, seamless workflow, taking a request from the very start all the way to resolution. The workflow is just so logical when you see it this way. So it kicks off when the agent, our manager, gets a request and figures out what the user is trying to do. Then it delegates. It selects the perfect specialist, the right action for that job. Now, if that action needs a little more info, it can call on a tool for some help. Once the action does its thing and completes the task, the whole process circles right back to the agent, who confirms everything's done and sends back a response. It's just clean, efficient, and totally predictable. Okay, that's the theory. Now let's see how this actually plays out in a real-world scenario that, well, every single Salesforce pro is going to know, handling an incoming customer support ticket. So picture this. An email comes in. The agent, our manager, reads it and understands, okay, this customer has a problem with a recent order. Its decision, we need to create a new case. So it tasks an action, our specialist, with actually creating that case record. But wait, to do that, the action needs the customer's contact info, right? So it uses a tool, our helper, to go fetch the contact and order data it needs from Salesforce. See how each component has one and only one clear job? Beautiful. So why are we talking so much about this team structure? Why does this all matter? Because this isn't just some clever analogy. It's a really powerful blueprint for how you should be building your automations from now on. The benefits you get from this model are huge. Your solutions become way cleaner because the logic isn't all twisted together. Maintenance becomes a breeze because when something breaks, you know exactly which component to look at. This architecture is just naturally scalable. You can add new reusable actions or update your tools without having to rewrite the whole system. And it even helps clarify those really tricky should I use flow or Apex decisions by giving you a clear framework for where each type of logic should live. So look, the crucial point is this, a clear separation of responsibility. If you only take one single thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. When your manager only manages, your doer only does, and your helper only helps, your entire system just works better. So as you go back to your own projects, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Take a hard look at the automations you've built or the ones you're maintaining right now. Are they a coordinated, high-performing team where every single piece knows its role? Or are they a tangled mess of overlapping logic? Trust me, applying this teen blueprint can make all the difference in the world.